It's your girl Javiah from Gifted Hands by Javiah. Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time visiting, hey y'all, hey, welcome. If you are already a part of the Gifted family, welcome back fam, welcome back. Y'all, I should be ashamed of myself. About a few videos ago, I created a video showing you guys how to sublimate flex sub material to create a kid's learning tray. And when I posted the video, I did ask if anyone was interested in learning how to create the actual design of this learning tray, because I created this design myself, whoop, whoop, using Canva. And I did get a really good response. I did have a bunch of people that were interested in learning how to create the actual design. And so I told everyone that I would get the design tutorial up as soon as possible. And y'all, as soon as possible happens to be now. But it's better late than never, right? So I created a full step-by-step tutorial demonstrating my process and how I created this design in Canva. Now it is a very lengthy tutorial because it is very detailed oriented. It is a step-by-step design tutorial. So if you are someone that is well versed in Canva, then this video may not be for you. But if you are a beginner in graphic designing or designing in general and you want to learn how to leverage Canva for your designing needs, then I highly recommend you stay tuned and watch this video. So I'm gonna stop talking now, and if you enjoyed the video, of course, after you watch it, please consider subscribing to my channel, giving me a thumbs up, and turning on the bell for notifications so that you can be notified every time your girl uploads a new video. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, y'all, I'm gonna start off in canva.com. I am a Canva Pro member, so I will be using the Canva Pro version of the software to show you how to create this design. Now, please keep in mind, Canva Pro members do have access to specific elements, clip arts, and features as a part of their membership. The good news is that for this particular design, the majority of the elements and the clip arts used are free. I've even used Google to get some of the clip arts as well. The not so good news is that some of the features that I will be using, such as the remove background feature, is not accessible to non-Canva Pro members. So you will have to use a different application or program to remove your background. If you are new to graphic designing and you are wanting to learn how to design and have access to a user-friendly software, I highly recommend Canva Pro. It has helped me with my graphic design skills tremendously, and this is coming from someone with absolutely zero graphic design experience. So if this is something that you are wanting to learn, to get into for making t-shirts or selling digital products, digital designs, highly recommend Canva Pro. It is worth the investment. Disclaimer: this particular design is not for sale. I am not selling this design. This is for personal use and demonstration purposes only. Okay? Again, for the people in the back, this is not for sale. This is for personal use and demonstration purposes only. So I'm going to show you how to create this design here from start to finish, and we are gonna get started. But first, I'm going to start from the home screen. And once you sign into Canva, you are going to be met with the home page screen. The very first thing that we're going to do is create a custom size. So I'm going to select custom size here. I'm going to change the metrics from pixels to inches, and I'm going to input the width and the height. In these fields, you want to input the size of the dye sublimation paper you are using. In this case, I will be using 13 by 19. However, I am going to input the dimensions in the landscape orientation, meaning my width is going to be 19 and my height is going to be 13. Then I'm going to select create new design. All right, so here is our blank canvas, and what I'm going to do is just import my background. Now, some of you are going to ask, how did you create this? How did you get this background? Where did you get it from? And I'm going to briefly tell you. Per my previous video where I demonstrated how you can sublimate on that flex sub material, I advised that I created a template, right? And I will be more than happy to provide you all with the template free of charge. I will leave the link in the description of this video so that you can use it. But please keep in mind that it is not 100% perfect, okay? Now, number 2, I Googled this background design. I think I typed in floral background design, and I used the template that I created, and I cropped that background into the template itself. I did not use Canva to do that. I used Silhouette Studio, and I have the business edition of Silhouette Studio. So again, I Googled the background, and I cropped the background into the shape of that template in Silhouette Studio. Once I've done that, I saved that file and I imported it into Canva. So when you open Canva, how you will get your design is you would head over here to where it says uploads, upload files. Wherever you saved your design, you will locate that. I usually save my files to my downloads folder. I will find it, select it, and then I will click open. Now, it is important to keep in mind the dimensions of your original design, because in Canva, you will have to resize it to the appropriate size. It will appear on your screen very small. So you will have to go in and adjust the size. This size here is 11.2 inches in width by 13.7 inches in height. Okay. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to go in and add the images that I want to use. Okay. So as I stated earlier in the video, I did use Google to get some of the clip arts. For Minnie Mouse, I used Google, so I'm going to show you what I've done. I typed in Minnie Mouse clip art, and as you can see, it's here. And I selected images, and I browsed for the Minnie Mouse image that I wanted to use, okay? Once I found the Minnie Mouse that I wanted to use, I'll just select this one for now. I right-clicked, copied image, went back into Canva, right-click again, and then paste. Okay? And then there is our Minnie Mouse. Now, this is also important. Sometimes when we are using Google to find images, they appear to say that an image is transparent and it has this transparent background, right? But in some softwares, the transparent background is not 100% transparent. It will come into your designing software with this box here with the checker boxes, right? So because I am a pro user, I can remove that background by simply selecting this image. And then I'm going to select the image, and then I'm going to select where it says edit photo. And then right here where it says BG remover, I can remove the background. And then the background of this Minnie Mouse is removed. Okay. And so I literally have done that with all of my clip arts. I've done Minnie, I've done Daffy Duck, and I also did the little crayons. So for the crayons, literally the same thing. Went to Google, I typed in crayon clip art. And for me, it was this first one here. I selected it, right clicked, copied image, went back to Canva, right clicked, and paste. And then Here is our crayons that we're going to be using. Again, I removed the background. I went to edit photo, BG remover, and then I allowed Canva to remove the background, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to add in the rest of my clip arts using the same steps, and then I'll be right back. I have all of my images and my clip arts that I want to use for this design here on the canvas. For this image of my daughter Jayla, I'm going to show you how I cropped her out just to get her face, okay? So all I've done was I took my cursor and I dragged it up just like so. And I'm trying to get rid of majority of the background, okay? Just like so. I'm just cropping it into the shape of a square just to focus on her face, okay? Now, while I still have her image selected, I'm going to head over to edit photo and I'm going to select that BG remover to remove the background. And when I did that, we are left with just this part of Jayla. Now, if I zoom in, you will be able to see that the remove background didn't remove the entire background. There's, some part of the background here by Jayla's ear, and that is okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the clip arts here to try to finesse that. If we were using a graphic designing software such as Photoshop, Affinity Designer, Illustrator, there are some features that can actually get a more cleaner and precise removal of the background, but Canva is just as dope. We just gotta, finesse and play around with it a little bit more, okay? And I'm going to show you what I have done. So let's zoom out and, okay. So I have a hair bow. Let's bring this over here. I have Daffy Duck. Is it Daffy Duck or Daphne Duck? I'm just gonna call her Dee Dee for now. Dee Dee. And then I have Minnie Mouse, okay? So I'm going to select Jayla, and I'm just going to enlarge her slightly, okay? And bring her right here in the middle. I'm going to select Minnie Mouse, and Minnie Mouse have all of this open space, okay? So I'm just going to just drag this in close to Minnie's arm, and I'm just going to just make her a little bit smaller. Now, once we get all of our text in, we can go in and readjust the size of our clip arts if necessary. So right now, I'm just trying to get an idea of where I want everything to be placed. Okay. Also, if you are going to be using a template, let me just say this. For me, using a template is beneficial. The reason why I like to use templates is because it helps me ensure all of my elements, my clip arts, my text are in place. If I don't use a template, sometimes my placement gets wonky. So I love to use templates. If you do not want to use templates, or you're not a template kind of person, you do not have to use a template. But for me, it just makes my life easier. For instance, if I am trying to place Minnie Mouse somewhere, right? Having this template here will allow me to know, okay, hey, this is my border, so I cannot surpass that top border. If I do, when it's time to sublimate, that means I am saying, okay, I don't need this part of Minnie's ear and this part of Minnie's bow because it's going to get cut off, right? But I do want this part of Minnie's ear, and I do want a part of her bow as a part of the design. So I am going to use this template as a guide for me to place Minnie where I will want her to go. Okay? With that being said, you also want to be mindful of your placement. Again, once we have everything, all of our text and all of our, shapes and everything in place, we can go in and adjust the placement and the sizes of our clip arts. Right here for Dee Dee, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select her, and I am going to flip her horizontally. So I'm going to select flip horizontally, and I am going to flip her. The reason why I'm going to flip her is because for this particular image of Dee Dee, there's this little opening piece right here, okay? And so I am trying to finesse that part where Jayla ear is at, and so that fits perfectly. Dee Dee fits perfectly in that little spot right there, okay? I think that looks pretty good. And I'm just going to make Minnie a little bit larger by stretching her out, okay? So that's what we're looking like so far, you guys, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to center all three of these images here. I'm going to select Minnie, hold down the shift key. I'm going to select my daughter and Dee Dee while I'm still holding down the shift key. I'm going to group them all together so that they can become one element, and then I'm just going to put this in the middle. Okay, and I'm using my guidelines to help me with making sure that everything is nice and centered. Okay, so now from here, I am going to continue with designing. So I'm going to head over here to where it says elements. I'm going to grab another square, and I'm going to turn this square into a rectangle. Okay, just like so. And all I'm doing is taking my cursor, and I am cropping the rectangle into its shape and size, just like this, right? If I zoom in a little bit closer, I am not a fan of this harsh straight line, okay? So this rectangle is going to be a way for us to kind of sort of hide that harsh line. Again, if we were using other designing software, there are ways that you can make those lines a little bit more softer, but we're going to make it work in Canva as well, all right? Right here, by the edge of Jayla's shirt, that is a straight, harsh line as well that I do not like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the picture of my daughter, Jayla, and I'm just going to ungroup it real quick because I forgot I had grouped the three images. I'm going to select Jayla, and I'm just going to expand her out to the left. That way, her shirt, it looks like she's hiding behind this square, if that makes sense, okay? Then I'm going to just group everything back together. So select the Minnie, hold down the shift, Jayla and Dee Dee, and then we are going to group them back together, okay? Now we're left with this rectangle right here to cover that harsh line. I'm going to select color, and I'm going to change the color of that rectangle to this pink color here, okay? Then I'm going to add in text. So I'm going to select text, add a heading, and I'm going to type my name is. I'm going to decrease the size and place this right inside of the rectangle, okay? I'm actually going to change this font as well, and I want to use this font here, Futura. I'm going to make my name is really small, and I'm also going to just play around with the size of this rectangle. Let's zoom out. Okay, so that is what we are looking like so far, okay? Next, I am going to work on the alphabet. So I'm going to head back over to where it says element, and I'm going to grab another square, but this time I'm going to grab the square with the round edges. So I'm going to select that. And I want to make this, let's move this over. So I'm going to select this, hold down the shift, select the name and my rectangle, and group. And I'm just going to move this out the way. Oh, I didn't select the rectangle, so let's go back. I'm selecting this back arrow to go back. And what I want is I want to select the pink rectangle. My name is, so the text, and the mini Jayla and Didi that's already grouped. And I want to group all of that together so that I can move this out the way in one piece, like so, okay? Let's move it out the way a little bit. I'm going to take this rectangle and I'm going to expand it out to make it into like this size right here. Right now I'm just playing around with the size. It's not going to be the size set in stone, but it's just for now. And I'm also going to be playing around with the placement. So I know I'm probably going to have to make this a little bit smaller. And let's see. Okay, so now that I have this rectangle here, I'm going to select this. I'm going to change the color to black. And I'm also going to duplicate it. And I'm going to change the duplicate color of this rectangle into that same pink color that we made for my name is. Then I'm going to take the duplicate and I'm just going to make it slightly smaller than the black rectangle. Okay, just a little bit. So it's going to look as if we have an offset of the pink rectangle, or like an outline. Okay, and I just want to make sure that I get it, you know, nice and centered. Okay, so something like this. Okay, so this is where we're going to be putting our alphabet. So I'm going to head over here to where it says text, add a heading, and I'm going to type in the word alphabet. Okay, and then I'm going to change this font, and the font that I'm going to use is called Waldemar. I hope that's how you pronounce it. It's a nice chunky font. And I am just going to adjust the size. And I'm going to place it right on top of the two rectangles here, okay? I'm also paying attention to the placement of it. We do not want it to go so far up beyond the template, okay? Which is why I like to use templates, y'all. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. So now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change this color. So I'm going to click on the text color. I'm going to change it to white. And I'm going to add an effect to it. So I'm going to select effect. And I want this outline. And I want the outline color, so right here, to be black. So I'm going to select black. Okay. And I want the thickness to be a little bit thicker because I want to be able to see that black, just like this. Okay, so you can adjust the thickness of your effect, or you can increase it. Okay, so I want to increase. You can increase the thickness or decrease the thickness. Okay, so I want mine to be increased, just like so. All right, and now I'm just going to use that same font, that Waldemar font, to type in the alphabet here. So again, I'm going to select add a subheading this time, and I'm going to do a capital A and a lowercase a. Change the font back to the Waldemar font, and I am going to place this here, make it small. I'm going to do the same exact thing that I have done with alphabet. Did I spell alphabet right? I hope I spelled alphabet right, y'all. I'm going to change the color of the letter A. And I'm going to select effects, outline, change the outline color to black. And then I'm going to change the thickness of the outline to a thicker thickness. Okay? And I'm going to do the same thing with the entire alphabet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this A. I'm going to duplicate it. Right click and change it to B. So a capital B, lowercase b. Okay, click on that, duplicate it, do the same thing. Double click, capital C, lowercase c, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to do that for the entire alphabet. And then when I'm done, I'm going to come back and we're going to continue with the next steps. Sorry guys, I had to take a little break. The kiddies came home from school, but I'm back. So now that we have our alphabet here, I just realized that I forgot to put Jayla's name here. So I'm just going to add her name real quick. I'm going to head over to text, add a heading, and I'm going to put Jayla's name, Jayla. And for this font, I'm going to use Waltograph. And I got this font from, if I'm not mistaken, thefont.com. And I'm just going to place this right here, just like this. Now I'm also going to add an effect to this name here. I'm going to select Effect, Outline, and I want this outline to be white. So the main text color black, but the outline is going to be white. So I'm going to select color, select the white color, and let's see, I'll just thicken the thickness just a little bit like that. Okay, and that is it. I'm actually going to just bring this down a little bit, just like that. Okay, so we have our alphabets. And what I did was I actually went ahead and I made the rectangles a little bit smaller. I also made the alphabet smaller as well. As you continue to design, you can adjust the sizing and things like that as well. You can adjust the sizing as you go, or, you know, however works for you, whichever is easier for you. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the months of the year. And I'm going to put that section right beneath the alphabet, okay? So what made my life easier was duplicating boxes, okay? So what I'm going to do is this black box here, I'm going to select it. Now I know that I selected the black box because right here, it tells me the color. If I selected the pink box will show here in the color field. So I want to make sure that I'm selecting the black box. So let's select the black box. Okay, then I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to bring this directly underneath the alphabet box, and I'm going to make this longer. Okay, just like so. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller here because we do need a space to put months of the year. Okay, now this might be a little bit different from the original design, but you guys are going to get the whole idea of this design in its entirety. Okay, so I'm going to select text, add a heading, and I'm going to type months of the year. Make this capital, make the T capital, and make the Y of year capital. And I'm also going to use that same font, but first let's change the color. Let's change the color of this text to white. Hold on, let's select this text, select the color, change it to white. I'm also going to change this back to that Waldemar font. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Okay, and I'm going to add the same effect to it. I'm going to add effects, the outline, and then I'm going to make the outline color black, Y'all, throughout this whole design, everything is basically repeating itself. The outline designs for the effects, the thickness, all of that is being repeated throughout this entire design. So I think this is pretty good. And then I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller. Place it right on top, like so. Okay. Boom. Now I'm going to take that pink box and I'm going to duplicate this as well. And I'm going to put this right on top and then align that up like so. So now that this is here, I'm just gonna make this a little bit larger. Okay. Now it's time to go in and add in our months. So first, I'm going to be using this same font again for the months of the year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to duplicate this pink box, right? I'm going to make it super skinny and I'm going to change the colors. So I'm going to select colors and I'm going to change the colors. I'm actually going to pick a color from the color wheel because I want this to be a darker pink. So like this pink like this. And I'm just going to place it like right here, just like so. And I'm going to duplicate this round rectangular shape here throughout this entire surface. I want to make sure that I'm going to fit all of the months though. So from January all the way to December. Okay, y'all, so I went ahead and I duplicated that shape 12 times. And I'm just going to go ahead and align them up a little bit more nicely so there aren't any, too much spaces in between them. I want everything to be lined up close to perfect. I'm very anal about certain things, so I like for things to just be lined up nicely. So I'm just gonna play around with the alignment for this real quick. And again, nothing is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing has to be perfect. Nothing will ever be perfect, but get it to being as close as perfect as possible. So now it's time to change the colors because I'm not going to keep the colors this pink color. So every other color I'm going to change into a different color. And how I'm going to do that is by simply selecting each box and selecting the colors. And then I'm going to use the colors that's in the photo. So these colors right here are going to be the colors that I use. I'm not going to use this color though, this darker grayish color. I'm going to use this light color, this purple color, I'm not even going to use this brown color, or maybe I am, I don't know, let's see. So I'm going to do this one is going to be this purple color, then this one is going to be this brown color, and then this color is going to be this like color right here. So these are going to be my colors. Okay, so next I'm going to complete the pattern. So I'm going to do that dark pink. Now I'm going to do light blue. Next one, this purple color, this brown color, and so on and so forth, guys. So we have like this pattern going on here. Okay, so that's what we're looking like so far. Now it's time to add in text. We're going to actually add in the name of the months. So text, add a heading. Actually, what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to be using the same font and the same colors and the same style, I'm just going to select a month of the year, duplicate that, and then type in each month. January, size that up, place that there, align it up so that it fits nicely within that shape, that rectangle. Make it a little bit smaller. Center it. Okay. Let's bring this down just a tad. I'm actually going to make this all capitalized, so January. Okay, I'm going to select that, duplicate that, and I'm going to type the next month. Whoops, February. Okay, select that, duplicate it, and so on and so forth. All right, y'all, so now that we finished entering all of our months, I am going to now move on to the crayons, okay? So let's move this bow out the way, and we're almost done. We're going to bring the crayons over here, and literally all we're doing is type in the color of each crayon color. So again, because we're going to be using the same font and the same, effects throughout this entire design, I'm just going to take January. Whoops, let me select that again, and I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to type red. Okay, let's zoom in so we can see. Then I'm going to take the edges and I'm just going to drag it in so we don't have so much space between the word red. So you see how it looks like when it's spaced out? It's not necessary to have it like that. So just drag it in so that it's edge to edge. Then I am going to take my cursor right here. You see these arrows that's going into like a circular motion there. I'm just going to turn this until it is a 90-degree angle, just like this. And then I'm going to center this right in the middle of that oval, or I'm going to try to at least center it in the middle of that oval. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit more to play around with the placement, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I know that I want all of this to be in this 90-degree angle. So again, I'm just going to select red, the text red, duplicate that, and I'm going to type in the next color, yellow. Okay, now when this happens, when there are two rows, all you do is you take your cursor, either the top one or the bottom one, and you drag it either upwards like so that everything could be on one line. And then when you want to adjust the text to make it smaller, you just take a corner and decrease it. And now I have yellow. Okay, so of course some of the colors, the text, the words are longer than others, so just keep that in mind as well. But for the most part, you just want to make sure that your text is at least somewhat center of that oval of the clip art. And again, I use the zoom because I have better control of the clip arts and the elements when you zoom in super close. So that's what I like to do. I like to zoom in a lot. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing for the rest of these colors here. Select the text, duplicate it, and then input the colors. Okay, so we have our colors here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select each of these texts. So red, hold down the shift, yellow, green, blue, purple, and pink. I'm also going to select the crayons itself, and I'm going to group that. So that is one element, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this down just a little bit, okay? Because we got to put colors right on top. So I'm going to select month of the year, duplicate that, bring that right over here, and change this to colors. Now you can change the fonts, you can change the colors of your text however you want it to be. For me, just keeping, you know, the same color scheme and the same fonts and text throughout the entire design just was a personal preference for me. I just like the way that it looks when everything is cohesive. Okay, but you can change it however you see fit for your design. Okay, so this is what we're looking like so far. Okay, we are almost there, y'all. So now I'm just going to just make this bow small, and the bow, I just randomly placed them different places throughout the design. It's really not necessary. I just thought it was cute because Minnie has the bow here, so I just thought that it was really cute to have those bow in different areas, but it's not necessary. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add our numbers. So I'm only going to go up to number 20. My daughter is in kindergarten, so, you know, she knows her numbers up to 100. But for the sake of this tutorial, I just made it up to 20. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select colors, duplicate that, and we're going to title this side over here numbers. Okay, and then again, if that happens with the 2 rows, just drag this on out so we can make it 1, and then move it on over, move the text over. So I'm just going to make numbers a little bit smaller. And I'm actually going to make the alphabet a little bit bigger because I want everything to be somewhat of the same size, like the titles and stuff, if possible. It's not really a big deal for me, but again, I like cohesiveness. So if this is 29.5, let's see, this is 29.9. So I can make this a little bit smaller. Let's see, 29.5. Okay, so that is, the numbers is the same size as the alphabets. I'm not mad at that. Now, this time, what we're going to do for the numbers is add squares. I am okay with numbers covering Dee Dee's bow. That's typically what's going to happen for this design anyway, to maximize as much space as possible and so that it is legible for the kiddies to see. So I'm okay with that. The same thing is going to happen when we put the numbers. Some of, you know, Dee Dee's body and bow is going to be covered, but that is okay. I am okay with that. I'm going to head over here to elements, and I'm going to select this square with the sharp edges, and I'm just going to drag this over, and I'm going to make this small. I want to keep it a square. This is not going to be a rectangle. I'm going to keep this an actual square. And my goal is to fit 4 squares across, okay? And then I'm just going to duplicate it. So I'm going to duplicate the squares. And for some reason, I can't fit 4. So what I probably have to do is make this a little bit smaller, like this. That way, I can move numbers over, bring it down, and I will be able to fit 4 boxes. Now over here, if I zoom in, this square is going behind Dee Dee's bow, and I want that to be in the front. So what I'm going to do is select this square. You're going to select these 3 dots where it says more, and then you're going to select position. And position, I'm going to bring to front so that this square is in front of Dee Dee's bow. And then I'm just going to move these other squares over, keeping everything nice and aligned. Just like so. Make sure I have the right amount of distance there. And then I'm going to duplicate it one more time. And I'm going to see if I can fit that 4th square. And I can. I just got to move this over just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to just bring numbers over a little bit so it could be somewhat centered. Okay. So now that that's there, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate these boxes. So I'm going to select all 4 of these boxes, group them, and then duplicate it. So now that we have our squares here, it's time to just go in and add in the numbers. You can add in the numbers first. You can change the colors. These colors are going to be the same colors that I use for the months over here. So either one you do first will be perfectly fine. Okay. So I'm just going to I'm going to just do the colors. I'm going to do it in the same order. Okay, y'all, so I went ahead and I changed all of the colors of the boxes, and now it's time to go in and add the numbers. So I'm going to just select the F from over here from the alphabets, duplicate that, bring that over here, and type in the number 1. And then I'm going to size it to the size that I would want number 1 to be by just simply adjusting the height. Like so. And then I'm going to duplicate double click, change to number 2, duplicate, make sure I have it aligned up, change to number 3, and I'm going to do the same thing all up until the number 20. All right, y'all, so our numbers are there and we are looking really good. Now we're going to move on to days of the week. Days of the week is going to come right beneath numbers. And again, as you guys go along, you can play around with the placement and the size of everything that you want. You could play around with the size and, you know, the placement of your designs as you go. So now, again, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Duplicate numbers. That's going to be our title. Bring this down here. And I'm going to make this days of, the week. Make that a little bit larger, put that over there. And for the days of the week is going to be exactly how this looks here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the black rectangle, select the pink, hold down the shift, and I'm just going to select each of these boxes, okay? 7 of them. So pink, this blue, this purple, this brown color, this other purple color. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? I'm going to select duplicate. And then I'm going to bring it over here. Now, we definitely going to have to play around with the sizing. So while everything is still selected, I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller and bring it over here like so. So now I'm going to select just the middle ovals, okay, rectangles, the pink, the blue, the purple, this brown, this other purple, this hot pink, and this blue again. And I am going to just bring this in the middle like so. And then I'm just going to go ahead and type in the days of the week. So to do that, select January, duplicate it, and then I'm going to go ahead and type Monday, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do here though is align that up. I might have to make this a little bit smaller, like that. And I might just give it a little bit of space because we have plenty of room down here. So let's space these out just a tad. Okay, y'all, so once I have these rectangles with the round edges spaced out, I'm just going to go in and type in the rest of the days of the week. All right, y'all, so days of the week is completed. I'm just going to bring this down like that. And we are almost to the finish line, y'all. So this is what we're looking like so far. Okay, this is what we are looking like. So now, last, I am going to add shapes. You don't have to add shapes. You can leave it just like this. But I'm just going to go in and add some shapes just to fill up this space right here. So, of course, I'm going to duplicate the title, bring it right underneath. And I'm just going to just move this up some more, bring this up, bring this up. And then I'm going to type shapes. And then I'm just going to head over to elements and bring in shapes. I'm going to bring in a circle, square, triangle, and a heart. So right here, I'm going to type shapes. And I'm going to select see all. And then I'm just going to bring in the shapes that I just said I was going to bring in. So I'm going to bring in my square. I'm going to bring in my circle. I'm going to bring in my heart and my triangle. Okay, and they all come in as the same colors, but I'm going to change them into different colors, same colors that we've been using all throughout our design. So I'm just going to play around with the placement of each shape. So my height is 1.2, so I'm going to try to make sure everything else is that height as well, 1.2 inches. We are good. So now it's time to change the color of each shape. I'm just going to go in the same order as all of these right here. I'm going to start with the square. Okay, and then in the inside of each shape, I'm going to put the name of each shape. So because these are going to be small text, I'm just going to take the text here from the crayons. Actually, because they're grouped, so I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to take May, duplicate May, bring this over, zoom in because this font, this text is going to be really, really small. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to type in square. Make this small so that it can fit inside the square. Make it small enough so that it can fit inside the square, but large enough so that it can be legible when it's printed and the child can actually see it. Okay, then I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to type circle, and I'm going to do the same for the other two shapes. Okay, so of course the word triangle is going to be a little bit smaller because of how many letters it has in the name, but it is what it is. We're gonna have to leave it like that unless you want to make each of these words smaller as well. For me, I'm okay with this. Okay, and literally, y'all, that is it for the designing part of this learning tray. That is it. We did it. This concludes my designing tutorial using Canva Pro. I really do hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. It is very tedious, y'all. I'm gonna be completely honest, and it is very repetitive depending on the type of design that you are going for. However, truth be told, the repetitiveness kind of sort of makes the designing process a little bit easier. It is just very time consuming. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, share, and comment if you have any questions, any concerns, anything that you have to ask me. And until next time, family, later.